$32 billion for Wiz. Google just bought the crown jewel of cloud security.
Crown jewel? Nate, they paid 50 times revenue. That's a pure panic buy. They're terrified of Microsoft.
It works, though. Honestly, I'm way more shocked by Blackstone today.
Wait, the Cricket League?
Private equity guys trying to understand wickets, it's beautiful.
I'd pay to see Schwartzman explain a googly. But first we need to figure out how Google actually gets Wiz past the regulators. The rundown.
$3.7 billion for a Japanese glassmaker. Apollo is really leaning into the Tokyo buyout wave.
Nippon Sheet Glass. Say what you want about Apollo, but they know how to spot a stubborn, undervalued legacy asset. Corporate Japan is finally letting private equity inside the house.
10 years ago, a foreign buyout of a century-old manufacturing staple would have been blocked by 3 different ministries. Now they're practically rolling out the red carpet.
Speaking of red carpets, I completely refuse to take this Blackstone rumor seriously.
The cricket pitch.
Yes, Blackstone is reportedly evaluating a massive stake in a new global cricket league. Oh, come on.
What? Have you seen the broadcasting rights for the Indian Premier League? It's the NFL of the Eastern Hemisphere.
Sure, the IPL prints money, but an unproven new league? That isn't a cash flow play, Nate. That's a senior partner wanting VIP box seats at Lord's.
You're so painfully cynical.
I just read the actual returns on these vanity sports plays. Private equity in sports usually ends with someone over-leveraging the hot dog stands to make the IRR work.
I'm telling you, cricket is a massively under-monetized asset class globally. The audience metrics are completely insane.
I'll stick to deals that actually generate cash today, like Veolia dropping 220 million Australian dollars on a soil remediation company down under.
Dirt. You're genuinely excited about dirt.
Contaminated dirt. It's a pure play on PFAS cleanup. Forever chemicals are the new asbestos, Nate. The regulatory liability is terrifying everyone, and Veolia is quietly buying up a monopoly on the cleanup tech. That's incredibly smart capital allocation.
Okay, fair point. Regulatory moats are the best moats. Gilead is doing something similar with their pipeline. They just scooped up Ouro Medicines for their autoimmune T cell program.
Privately held, no deal value disclosed. You know how much I hate ghost valuations.
It drives you crazy, but the science is white hot. You buy the clinical pipeline early or you pay 10 times as much in phase 3.
Just like CapitaLand Ascendas throwing $1.3 billion at Singapore logistics and an Osaka hyperscale data center. Everyone is panic buying infrastructure to support the cloud.
Which perfectly tees up the $32 billion elephant in the room.
Google actually closed Wiz.
The biggest cybersecurity check ever written. But are the regulators really going to let them keep it? The big one.
$32 billion. I keep saying it out loud to see if it makes more sense, and it really doesn't.
Oh, come on. It makes perfect sense if you are Thomas Kurian and you are tired of playing bronze medalist to Amazon and Microsoft.
I am not arguing the strategic fit. Wiz is a phenomenal asset. They practically own the cloud security posture narrative right now. But $32 billion? They were valued at what? $10 billion just last year. A $22 billion premium in this rate environment is just reckless.
Last year's valuation does not matter when you are buying a moat. Google Cloud needs enterprise trust. You buy Wiz, you don't just buy their tech. You buy their entire Rolodex of Fortune 500 CISOs who already use them. It is an acquisition of enterprise credibility.
You sound exactly like a sell-side pitch deck right now. Credibility doesn't cost $32 billion. Desperation costs $32 billion.
Guilty as charged on the bankers speak, but I am right. Look at the landscape. Every enterprise is moving AI workloads to the cloud. If Google wants to capture that, they have to prove their infrastructure is absolutely bulletproof. Wiz does that overnight.
Does it? Because I read the actual press release this morning, and the amount of times they use the word synergy makes me think they have no idea how they are actually going to integrate this behemoth.
Synergy is just corporate for please don't yell at us shareholders.
My favorite part was page 3 of the announcement. They called it a highly complementary combination of cultures.
Wait, really? A scrappy, hyper-aggressive New York cybersecurity startup and the legendary Google bureaucracy, that is going to be an absolute bloodbath.
Exactly. Half those whiz engineers are going to vest their retention bonuses and start a competitor in 18 months. I guarantee it. I am already looking for the footnotes on the earnout structures.
Okay, sure, the cultural integration is a massive risk, but the much bigger hurdle is Washington.
Oh, absolutely. The ink isn't even dry, and I am already hitting refresh on the FTC and DOJ press pages. You do not buy a $32 billion market leader in tech right now without regulators waking up in a cold sweat.
It is wild that they pushed this through. I actually respect the audacity. Google is basically daring the antitrust watchdogs to stop them.
They have the cash to fight a protracted legal battle, but the distraction cost is going to be immense. You are trying to integrate a massive, complex acquisition while your general counsel is living in a deposition room in DC.
Still worth it. If they clear regulatory, Google Cloud actually has a differentiated, best-in-class security pitch against Azure. If they don't, they pay a breakup fee and go back to building it in-house.
A multi-billion-dollar breakup fee and 2 years of wasted time. Your definition of worth, it is exactly why I am so glad you don't manage my retirement account.
Fair enough. But speaking of massive numbers and people throwing cash around, Google isn't the only one making landmark moves today.
Right. If you thought 32 billion was a big swing, wait until you see what private equity is doing with Glass in Japan. Apollo is definitely not playing games. Voices.
I'm looking at a note from the commodities desk this morning, and they're basically calling the Hudbay and Arizona Sonoran deal the starting gun. They're saying it sets a whole new valuation bar for copper explorers. They actually named Kodiak Copper as sitting right in the crosshairs for this incoming M&A wave.
I read that exact same note, and I circled the word wave in red ink. It's just pure banker spin.
Oh, come on. The macro story is totally bulletproof right now. Every single hyperscaler building a tier 3 data center needs miles of copper wire. The demand is structurally locked in for the next decade.
I'm not arguing the demand, Nate. I'm looking at the multiples. Hudbay paid a massive premium, sure, but calling it a wave ignores how terrible most of these junior miners' balance sheets actually are. You don't just buy an explorer because they have a cool ticker symbol and a drill rig. You need proven reserves, and those are getting ridiculously expensive.
Spoken like a true skeptic who hates a good narrative. But if you want to talk about ridiculously expensive land grabs, look at what's happening in wealth management. The RIA consolidation is going completely vertical.
That was the other big piece of commentary floating around today. Industry watchers are hyping up Composition Wealth swallowing Edgewater Wealth Management. That is a $900 million book of business just in the Pacific Northwest.
Wealth management is just SaaS for finance guys now. It really is. You get predictable, recurring revenue, sticky customers, and you just keep bolting these regional shops together until you can flip the whole thing to private equity.
Except your software doesn't get mad when you change the coffee brand in the break room. The integration risks on these RIA deals are entirely human. Clients walk the second their favorite advisor gets annoyed by the new corporate overlords.
Very true. But speaking of massive corporate overlords swallowing things whole, we really need to look at what's happening over in the cloud space.
$32 billion definitely changes the weather up there. Spill the tea.
I'm telling you, the Blackstone partners are absolutely already shopping for cable knit cricket sweaters.
Oh, please. You really think Steve Schwartzman is sitting around his office analyzing wicket-taking rates?
Yes, or at least his very tired associates are. Look, Blackstone evaluating a stake in this new global cricket league isn't a joke. It's a massive media rights play. The Indian Premier League is already printing billions.
I'm not denying the global footprint. I'm looking at the fragmentation. You can't just copy-paste the NFL private equity playbook into a brand new global league and expect the same multiple. The monetization per fan in emerging markets is completely different.
That's exactly why you buy in now. The upside is insane. You get in before the broadcast rights hit the ceiling. It's classic buy low sports investing.
Or you get stuck holding the bag when 3 rival leagues pop up and dilute the talent pool. I need to see the actual term sheet before I believe they're putting serious capital into a startup league. But fine, let's talk about a deal where we actually know the players. The beauty world is completely losing its mind today.
You're talking about Estee Lauder and Puig?
Exactly. Estee Lauder finally confirmed they're in talks for a business combination with the Spanish powerhouse.
Which is corporate speak for, we desperately need some European luxury cachet because our margins are slipping and our stock has been hammered.
That's a little harsh, but you're not wrong. Puig has the elite fragrance portfolio, but they just went public a few months ago. The timing is fascinating. Estee is clearly looking for a massive defense mechanism.
The culture clash there is going to be spectacular. Classic American corporate bureaucracy meets a fiercely independent Spanish family dynasty. I would pay real money just to listen in on those integration meetings.
I'll just read the footnotes on the golden parachutes. But speaking of integration meetings that might get extremely complicated, we need to talk about what the antitrust regulators are going to do with Google's $32 billion Wiz acquisition tomorrow. Tomorrow's radar.
Tomorrow I'm refreshing the regulatory wires every 5 minutes for Google and Wiz. $32 billion. You know the antitrust folks are already drafting the injunction.
Oh, come on. They just closed it. Give the ink a second to dry. Plus, Wiz is cloud security. Google actually has a decent argument that this increases competition against Microsoft and AWS.
Since when does the current FTC care about decent market arguments? They hate big numbers, and $32 billion is a massive target on their back.
I need to see the actual filings before I buy the regulatory doom narrative, but my terminal is actually set to the sports desk tomorrow.
Wait, really? You don't even know what a first down is?
I know what a lucrative private equity stake looks like. Blackstone is reportedly evaluating a massive position in a new global cricket league.
A cricket buyout? That's actually amazing. I desperately want to see that pitch deck. Do they model the cash flows in wickets?
I'm sure some poor junior analyst is frantically Googling the rules right now. We'll see if the term sheet drops by morning.